So I told y'all I could show you better than I could tell you, right? So I tried to show you a little bit about what we do, how we live out our commitment to inclusive excellence as an organization, how we embed cultural competency and inclusive intelligence in the way that we work, both with families, with schools, with communities, most importantly though, with children. So understanding the scope and the impact of microaggressions. I think the best way that I can really frame out scope and impact is to share a personal story. So this is a picture of my family. At the top, you see me and my dad and my two brothers, my older brother, Michael, and my younger brother, Joseph. At the top, that's my grandmother. I was my grandmother's favorite grandchild. And the very first memories that I have of microaggressions, I experienced from my own grandmother. And so one story I'll share is that when I was a little girl, my grandmother had a nickname for me. And her nickname for me was, she used to call me her little pickaninny. And she would grab my pigtails and she'd say, "Oh, my little pickaninny, you look so cute today." It never felt good. It always felt like I was somehow being called that because I was different. And I'm obviously different. You can see in the pictures that I'm different from the rest of my family. It wasn't until I was probably 28 years old, somewhere around before I turned 30, that I looked the word up. I had just had my first child and I was thinking about my grandma and how she used to call me her little pickaninny. And I thought, what does that word mean? So I went and I looked it up. And I discovered that it's a derogatory term that was used to describe slave children. It hurt. And that impact never fades, because here I am, 45 years old, still nearly brought to tears, thinking that my own grandmother would call me a name such as that. That's why we're having this conversation. Microaggressions, though they're small, have a lasting impact. And oftentimes the impact never fades away. So when we think about equity, we need to really think about it from the framework of ameliorating differences that manifest in outcomes and access. And this means that we provide those differentiated supports that are based on individual or group needs in order to achieve fairness in outcomes or equity in those outcomes. So acquiring these skills, this inclusive intelligence, our cultural competence, that acquisition of knowledge is a radical act of love. Within the framework of love is a love ethic. Those elements are care, commitment, trust, responsibility, respect, and knowledge. 5 core components of what it means to demonstrate inclusive excellence. So how do we do this in real life? I'm going to give you a tool. I call this the Lovey tool set. And you can take this and you can use it and operationalize it in your work every single day, whether it be in your work, engaging with your colleagues at work, or the work you're doing externally with partners, families, children, software developers. Every aspect of your work gives you opportunity to demonstrate the competencies here in the Lovey framework. So listen, understand, validate, and iterate. This is how we live out inclusive excellence. So what does that actually mean? Well, 1, we need to listen hard to others and do all that we can to grasp their emotional state and their needs. We need to understand others' perspectives by clarifying when necessary, giving space for elaboration, and challenging our preconceptions. V, validate. Take in what others are saying, even if you don't agree or relate, if you don't have the life experiences to be able to personally relate to what someone is saying or expressing, we still practice empathy and respond with grace. And then most importantly, I, iterate. Take what we have learned through that active listening and use it to inform our decision-making going forward. Does it make you angry? It might make you sad, but I hope it makes you just a little bit angry, because anger, right? Sadness makes us feel hopeless, but anger makes us want to do something. And so my goal today is not to make anybody sad. I don't want anybody to leave here feeling sad. I want you to feel angry. I want you to feel empowered. I want you to feel like you now know the questions that you should be asking that can begin to inform your advocacy. Because advocacy for equity, it's informed. It is data informed. It's not just about what you believe, it's about what you know, and that what you know has informed what you believe and what you think is the right thing to do next. Participate. So if you have your phones handy, please go to www.menti.com and use the code 3708588. And we're going to do some real-time polling here. So list a word that describes something you saw or learned, and they're already coming in. You can see them popping up there on the screen. Now, the words that are the biggest on the screen means that multiple people have chosen those words. So impact is the word that most people are choosing. Awareness, another big one. Triggering, empathy. I love these. I think they're so much fun. I hope that from our presentation today, that you walk away wanting to know a little bit more about how you can get some of this good Waterford equity love in your school district.